Hi, I'm Maddie Bolin, and welcome back to PHS Now. This is the August 2020 edition. The Indians came back to school this month eager to learn and socialize. We start this program off with Landon Hare talking to Ms. Berkey about the SkillsUSA class.
Hello, Pickle High School. I'm here with Mrs. Berkey, and Mrs. Berkey, you had a project today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, thank you. Today we got to do an activity outside, and we did that because we're introducing a new student organization, and we're trying to help the students understand the opportunities that will be involved in that. So we're going to be doing an organization called SkillsUSA.
And what will those students be able to take away from that organization?
Well, we're hoping that through participation in SkillsUSA, students get the growth in skills that are directly related to their job. Sometimes those skills are called soft skills, but they're incredibly important as you move forward throughout your life.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ms. Berkey.
Thank you guys for being here.
Well, the project was called Ball and String, and basically you have 8 people and you pull the strings really tight and you have to balance this ball on like a open circle and you have to try to get it from bucket to bucket.
All right, I'm here with Lane, and Lane, what did you learn from the project that you did today?
I learned how to communicate with my peers and how to do problem solving.
Were you able to take anything huge away from this project that you had never learned before?
It doesn't matter like who you work with, as long as you guys are working for the same goal, you can accomplish anything.
In our next segment, Mr. Messick takes the band commanders outside for a breath of fresh air to talk about their newly modified season.
Welcome to PHS Now, our first episode, and I'd like to thank you guys. I have right now I have our band commanders out here, our field commanders out here, and we're going to ask a few questions. And I'm going to have them introduce you. But guys, like I said, thank you for coming out here, visiting me outside so we can get the masks off and have a chance to let you guys talk and they can get to see your pretty faces right now.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. So we have our 3 band commanders, and I'd like for each of them to introduce themselves, tell them what grade they are, and why don't you guys go ahead and throw in what instrument you guys also play, even though I know there's a band commander out there on Friday, you're not playing an instrument, but I know you do it in concert band. So let's go ahead and start out and introduce yourselves.
I'm Bella Reyes. I'm a junior, and I play the alto saxophone.
Steven Dolder. I'm a senior, and I play trumpet.
I'm Carrie Marion Davey. This is my senior year. I'm lead drum major this year, and I also play flute and alto saxophone.
And of course, I'm Mr. Messick. So as with this whole COVID thing, we have a lot of changes, and back in August, we found out there were some major changes that was going to happen with the band. And it crushed us a little bit when we got the news. But Bella, could you kind of tell me what are some things that have changed this year instead of what you've done in prior years with your marching band?
Well, this year we've really implemented a lot of social distancing, wearing masks when we're not playing, keeping our distance from everybody, and we also have to keep up more morale than we normally have to, just to push through everything that's going on.
So Stephen, she was talking about a little bit about morale because there was a major change because your competitions got taken away from you this year, isn't that? Is that right? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So when the year started, we had this whole competition show laid out that the directors planned for us. And we kind of knew there was a possibility that it could get canceled and we'd have to find something else to do. And so we finally got the call from the state association that oversees all the band stuff. And so from there, the directors just kind of brought some different songs in to make a central theme that we could make a show off of. And so that's where we got our Queens of Pop show.
Okay. Now, Carrie, I know that the amount of games that you guys where you guys could perform was reduced. Obviously, you can't go to competitions. So where are you guys able to perform this year, or what are some of the things that you have to do in the way of your performance this year, and like where and how many times?
So this year we got cut down to 6 football games total. That goes for everybody. We are not allowed to travel this year, so we only have 3 games. So we have 3 home football games that we're a part of this year, and they actually brought in the idea for us to go and play at soccer games. So we've actually got a surprise for you tonight at our soccer game. We're going to be moving and playing tonight.
Really?
And there are not yard lines
I was going to ask you about
on a
that.
soccer field. So we're going to hope this goes pretty well. We did it in the grass yesterday with no yard lines, and that went pretty well.
Okay.
So we're just doing everything we can and taking every opportunity to be able to play whenever we can.
That's great. And I know that because when we first kind of talked about this, I know that Mr. Hines and Mr. Mahaney mentioned to me that you guys would be playing on the soccer, and I'm like, how does that work with the line? So it sounds like you guys did did you guys draw a soccer field out on your band practice field?
No, we didn't. We just kind of took my ladder and was like, okay, pretend this is the 50-yard line. And we just have to utilize the people around you, utilize each other, and figure out where you're going. And it actually made some of our forms a little bit better because we're not depending on where our spot is on the field. We're depending on each other to know where we're supposed to be in our formations.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting. I'll make sure I get out there and watch that tonight. I think I have a board meeting, but I'll go out there and watch it afterwards. So Bella, tell me a little bit about the show that you're playing. I think you said it was what, King of Pops? Is that what you said? Or
Right now we're doing our show Queens of Pop, including Kesha, Katy Perry,
Lady Gaga.
and Lady Gaga. So we have lots of different songs that the audience should know, and we've really tried to bring in aspects of what we would do in our competition show into this show, adding more complex things like dynamics, like meshing well together and balancing sounds with each other.
okay. And Stephen, like playing these types of songs, is it fun to play these songs as a band? Did you guys help select some of these songs? How did all that come about?
It's definitely fun because all the songs that we have been pretty popular in the past, so everybody knows them. It's a little bit harder because, or not harder, but it's different because when you have a song that's out on the radio and then you have like a song that from that comes into like a band situation, the rhythms aren't always the same, so you go off of what you know from the song on the radio, but that's not always what's written, and that can cause some issues. But that's typically hammered out pretty quickly.
And Carrie, as the lead, how is the flag corps and all that, how are they kind of included in all of this?
So, excuse me, the flags practice on their own outside of our rehearsal time for the most part. They practice evenings, whichever works around their instructor's time and schedule. But when they come and play with us, it just adds a whole new dynamic to our show, adds a whole new level of color, and they just bring the band together. They are a part of the band, and a lot of people don't see them that way, but I really enjoy having them out there and seeing what they're able to do without being able to work with us, and then bringing it with us, and it all just goes together so well.
Yeah, and it's kind of a shame because they're not able to be in a lot of the competitions. And I know that last year and even the year before, I mean, they were dominating the competitions, getting all kinds of awards. The flag group was. So I'm sure they'll be right back. And when competition goes back, have you guys heard anything about concert choir yet, Bella? Is there any word about them doing the competitions?
At this point, we haven't heard anything from OMEA about whether or not we're doing competitions. Right now, we're basically focusing on having our own concert here at school and recording that for audiences to see instead of a competition right now.
Okay, and now there's also a new change in band classes this year. We have 2 band classes. Stephen, so can you kind of explain to me how those 2 band classes work?
First period band class is the concert band, which is more of the younger or less experienced members. They like have their own songs that they practice and stuff, and they'll perform at a concert. And then second period is the symphonic band, which would, if we have competitions, they'll be going to competition, and they have their own stuff that they work on as well that they would perform at a concert.
Okay, excellent. So Carrie, this will be the last question I have for you. What do we really need to know about the 2020 season band? What are some special things that we need to know about this group, and some things that are going on that we should, like I said, that you'd like to share with everybody?
So Mr. Hines has a friend, and her name is Tori. She started some Wednesday night leadership groups with us. We have a leadership group in the marching band, and we've all been meeting via Google Hangouts, and she's just coached us through this book called The Energy Bus. We actually have an Instagram account, follow it. So where we really just try to uplift each other and uplift the group, because our main goal is to make next year's group so much better, even if Steven and I won't be here. We really want to see the band grow and see the progress that we have created this year, see us grow as a family, and then expand that in years to come. Because what we're creating right now is something that's going to last for years, and I know that.
That's awesome. I really appreciate you guys coming out here and spending this time with us and sharing your guys' experience. And you know, I respect everything you guys do. You work so hard all summer long. It broke my heart to hear that your season got canceled, but it's amazing what you have done up to this point to make sure that you have a good season. So great job. Thank you guys.
Now we take a look at Miss Berkey's class as they made real functioning robots.
What we're doing in robotics right now is, I call it a procedural pretest. So I've kind of thrown my students to the wolves, so to speak, where they've just gotten their kits, and I want them to understand some of the capabilities of those kits, and also to understand and develop questions for what they want to learn as we continue to move forward. So what they're doing is, with very little direct guidance from me this time, they are tasked to build a robot that is going to accomplish a goal that they're actually picking themselves. They need to build that robot, and they also need to get their hands into the programming a little bit.
In our next segment, Blaine Uhl speaks to Miss Jacobs about her excitement in joining the PHS staff.
Hi, my name is Abby Jacobs, and I am the new Spanish teacher here at PHS.
Great. So what levels of Spanish do you teach here for Pickle High School?
I teach 2 and 3, so sophomores and juniors.
Awesome. So prior to Pickle High School, can you just tell us a little bit about your past, where you went to college, and if you had any prior jobs to coming to Pickle High School?
Yeah, so I graduated from Cedarville University in May, so this is my first job out of college.
That's awesome. And then how did you kind of become involved and learn to really like Spanish enough to where you learn it fluently and be able to teach it to young students?
Yeah, so I took it in high school. I went to Troy High School, and I took it just to graduate, and I instantly fell in love with it. I fell in love with the culture, the people, the food, the music, everything about it. And then when I got to college, I decided to major in it, and I love kids, so I always knew ever since I was little that I wanted to be a teacher. So I just combined my love for Spanish and my love to teach, and I just put them together. I studied abroad in Spain in college, so just being immersed in that culture, I just fell more in love with it.
That's great. So this being your first year at Pickle High School, can you tell us how you feel about the community, how you feel about the culture, and how your students interact with you, and how Pickle High School is as a whole?
Yeah, I love Piqua. Honestly, I mean, being from Troy, I can honestly say this, Piqua feels like home to me. I never thought I would say that about another school than where I came from, but I love Piqua. I love the people. I love the community. Piqua pride. I just love how respectful the students are, and I love my admin and the staff that I work with.
Awesome. So right now, the students, how are they doing with Spanish? Obviously, it's a new teacher. How are they understanding the material, and do they seem to be enjoying your class?
Yeah, they're doing well. I mean, as far as I know, I think they're enjoying it. I hope they are. Obviously, we were off for a couple months for COVID, so we're just working through that, and they say that it's doing well, so we're just trying to review stuff from last year since we were off for a little bit, and then just keep chugging through.
Great. Before we head out, do you have any last things that you just want to say about Piqua or about Spanish, anything that you just want to say before we go ahead and end the interview?
I just want to say thank you, Piqua, for the opportunity to teach here. I love it. I love the school, and go Indians.
Now, Austin Grisey speaks to Officer Walters about the new Law Enforcement Apprenticeship class at PHS.
I'm Austin Grisey here with Officer Walters. Can you tell us a little bit about what we did today and a little bit about this class?
Sure. So this is our first year for the Law Enforcement Apprenticeship class. We got about 15 students. Basically, it's just an intro into law enforcement. We're kind of showing the ropes and kind of some of the stuff that we do. Today we brought in the fire department. Basically, we brought those guys in to show you how we work together and how we respond to scenes with the fire department and EMS and how they respond to our scenes as well. A lot of fun stuff lined up. We got ride-alongs. We're going to go over some constitutional rights stuff. I don't want to throw everything out there because I want to keep you guys in a little bit of suspense, but we definitely have a lot of fun stuff lined up.
It's great to be back at school, and I'm eager to see you next month for the September edition of PHS Now. And remember, I'm Maddie.